This is SNN, and welcome everybody to the Daily Space Weather video. I'm your host Dan, aka smAsho. We've got lots of things to cover. We're going to truncate the content a little bit today, and it's going to be exclusive only on YouTube. Starting things out, looking at the sun here in 94 angstroms, we see an active region in the northeast, as well as two small active regions in the south. Possibly zero sunspots, possibly a small sunspot or two. We'll let you know by the end of the video. Oh, and by the way, that's not a spaceship. Next, looking at some HelioViewer movies. Here's a quick glance at the fields. Again, we could have some sunspots. I saw a possible umbra doing show prep. And there is the 193 angstroms view of that active region in the North Pole. Large coronal hole in front of that active region. Please leave a comment if you have ideas about the physics of their interaction. Yes, allow me to vanish to give you a full view. Here's a 304 angstroms view of that same area. It's a very well-defined coronal hole. We can expect a wind stream from that in about 4 days. Great view of that in 304 angstroms there. And here's the colorized magnetogram, and again you can see these active regions down here in the south, one there and one there. And I actually did see umbrae associated with this sunspot here, so it's being indecisive about whether it's a plage or a sunspot. And this happens regularly, no surprise. When you look very closely, you can find details you would not otherwise see. Probably the best view we've got there, the 171 angstroms view of that active region. Again, you can see that the lack of plasma in that coronal hole region. And you can expect a proton stream to be coming out of there. Again, that should be headed our way in about 4 days. 10.7 centimeter radial flux is up to 74, so that's a good thing, folks. You don't want your solar minimum to be too minimal, do you? There's the graph of the sunspot progression and radial flux progression of the past approximately 4 years. And you can see finally back in to over 70 for smooth monthly values for the radial flux. And we've actually gotten into a brief geomagnetic storm there just after we did the show yesterday, actually. And we're back into geomagnetic unrest now. KP index currently at 4. We don't see any solar flares or proton strikes on the magnetosphere. And let's take a look at the real-time solar wind. We just saw some shifts in the phi angle and the BTBZ right here. In the last couple of hours, we've seen a very steady solar wind density over the past 24 hours, currently around 8 protons per cubic centimeter, solar wind speed nearly 500 kilometers a second, so we're still seeing an elevated coronal hole wind stream there. And it's taken quite a while for this one to subside. Here's what's going on in the geospace. It's the geospace magnetosphere movie. This 4 hours of data, courtesy of University of Michigan. And you can see double layers out there. We've had a slight increase in the electron flux here, as I forecasted yesterday. And that's what geomagnetic unrest conditions look like. It's basically all because of that high-speed coronal hole wind stream there, raising the solar wind speed to around 490 kilometers a second. And next we'll look at ground magnetic perturbations. We do see some significant auroras sparked by this. Actually, there are the aurora forecasts. And you can see a very high likelihood of auroras visible. When you see that turning red, you're getting into the 90+% chance of visible aurorae. at the end of the video there, we see auroras actually all the way down to southern Minnesota there for a moment, it looks like. Right here you can see some spillover there, making it down into South Dakota, even in like central Wisconsin may have seen some auroras. Leave us a comment if you have. Here are the ground magnetic perturbations over the past 4 hours. So some significant induction-induced ground magnetic perturbations there. And again, we've seen the electron flux increase here. We'll let that play through since it refreshed. Again, that's 4 hours of data. And again, we're going to shorten the content up a little bit today because it's Friday and there's lots of things to do. Next thing we're going to show you is the GOES magnetometer. And there's the last 3 days of that. Some very anomalous readings here. We're seeing these sawtooth patterns. And no real surprise, as there is a significant coronal hole wind stream on the way and one striking now. So this is what happens when you get plasma in between you and your magnet. The plasma aligns to the magnetic field and absorbs the magnetic energy. This is measured in nanotesla. Next, looking at the top view ecliptic plane field plot. It's part of the National Sunspot Observatory. This data is based on ground-based magnetometers on Earth, as well as on stereo A out here at Lagrange point 5 and stereo B at Lagrange point 4. And just keep in mind the magnetic environment can suddenly change, and that this data is 1 hour and 40 minutes old. Still solidly in the North Pole current sheet there. Don't be surprised if we suddenly snap into the South Pole current sheet. Here's a line of sight field plot which shows the B field in blue, and we see some doubling up of the B field here on the eastern portion, and that all has to do with increasing solar polar field strength, as well as B field being pulled toward this active region. So you can see this being pulled up here toward the end of the video, right about there. No real surprises there. And let's look at the, oh, it's not loading. Anyway, there's the current image of the coronal field plot. That one's not really loading. Let's just move on to talk about smash lights. Now, we've got a playlist called Smash Lights, and we've been putting up various videos of different kinds. So check out our playlists. You can find those at youtube.com/smashomash/playlists. We're also on BitChute, and we put exclusive content on all social media platforms. Check out smashomash.org for our links. There are the links to our social media underneath this arrow. Thanks for all your hard work, smAsho staff. Consider supporting us via merch, and you can link to the merch by going to smashomash.org, clicking on the smAsho store or the Smash store. Today's featured shirt is what I'm currently wearing. Yes, Smasher price my first pandemic. Talking about a cheap Chinese plastic virus. And I'm currently wearing one. And here I am. And here you go. There you go. Smasher price my first pandemic. An homage to the pathetic and infantile response of mankind to COVID, where they think that masking the planet and lockdowns of healthy people is going to do jack to prevent the spread of a highly communicable virus, which is even spreadable by dogs and cats. Do you follow us on Instagram? If you follow us on Instagram, you may see posts from my cycling mentor. Here he is. It's Tattoo Ron with 2 N's. Very simple. Instagram.com/tattooronn. Tattoo Ron with 2 N's. If you'd like to have some ideas about tattoos, well, he's been doing it quite a long time. And here is an example of some of his work. Shout out to Ron if you're watching the content. Let's consider doing some riding this weekend, perhaps. Who knows? Anyway, there are some examples of some of his work. If you're considering getting ink and you're in the eastern Pennsylvania region, he works down in eastern PA at Famous Tattoo. So go check it out. There's his most recent. TattooRon, TattooRonn. Instagram.com/TattooRon with 2 N's. Now, are you sick of Facebook? Are you sick of the censorship, the political bias, and the nonsense? Well, I think Minds.com is the future of social media. If you haven't checked out Minds.com/smAsho, consider checking it out. We've got exclusive content there, and if you go to the images section, you will find memes upon memes upon memes upon memes. Minds.com/smAsho. Minds, the future of social media, we think. Because you won't find all the censorship and bias and nonsense on Minds that you will find on Facebook. If you enjoy the content on YouTube, please press like and subscribe. Sorry, BitChute subscribers, today's video will only be on YouTube. You got to put exclusives on all your social media. Sorry, Twitch. Today's space weather video will not appear on Twitch, and let's talk cosmology for a quick moment. We've got cosmology shirts. So if you head to smashomash.org and you click on the other store, which is the Smash store as listed there, that will bring you to this site. And perhaps consider yourself getting a Google is a scam and not a verb shirt. Maybe tell your friends and foes about the inherent bias of Google or its political interference, etc. Let's talk about M87. There's been a time-lapse footage released here of what's going on at the massive radio source located at the core of Galaxy M87. I won't conjecture as to what it is. I'll just call it a massive radio source. I've been using that term since the mid-90s. But anyway, this is the observations from the past decade of M87, believed by some to be the first images of a black hole. I'm not going to get into that, but if you want to look it up, it's on nature.com. The, quote, most trusted name in science publication. Well, to some. How about the mystery storms on Jupiter? Why do they form in a geometric pattern like that? How come they form in a hexagon and these low pressure systems, they migrate to the poles and then they rotate around each other? What's up with that? It all has to do with anticyclones and magnetism. And you can find that article at scitechdaily.com. And I believe it's on phys.org in the astronomy and space section also. Turns out you can actually simulate this with magnets floating around in liquid. Get some floating magnets and you can actually simulate this. The vortices at Jupiter's poles. An indication that there's some sort of interaction between magnetism and the weather on Jupiter. Yes. Anyway, there's a great image of what's going on at one of Jupiter's poles. That's the South Pole. And you can see that geometric formation associated with those multiple low pressure zones. Let's talk COVID. Are you scared and spooked? Are you scared and spooked? Are you convinced that it's beta China? Do you even care if it's beta China? Do you find it statistically irrelevant like I do? Have you considered heading to smashomash.com/affiliate and buying one of these things? It's a UV wand. I'm going to keep it away from COVID because I don't want to destroy it. It's pretty fragile. Yeah, I've got a UV wand. Yeah, there it is. And I know it's black. You can't see it. But in any case, smashomash.com/affiliate. We've fixed all of that. And there's a lot of stuff on there, such as PPE, to make you just slap that thing right out of the air. And what else is going on? Well, research shows cardiac safety of patients and hydroxychloroquine use is not associated with dangerous heart rhythms. Yes, because the studies that did show hydroxychloroquine was dangerous had near lethal dosages of the drug. You take, I believe it's 200 milligrams of this stuff twice a week. And, yeah, there it is. 200 milligrams twice a week, as I stated. So, yeah, we made a video about this on March 23rd. Or what? No, March 19th, I think it was. And it got promptly demonetized on YouTube, so we took it down and put it only on BitChute. It's bitchute.com/smashamash if you want to watch that. On the last day of winter, It seemed like a spring of intelligent ideas about how to treat a statistically irrelevant, non-novel virus like SARS-CoV-2. What a joke. It's cheap and flimsy and made of plastic. Dr. Simone Gold has a simple explanation for Africa's mild coronavirus toll. It's because hydroxychloroquine is available over the counter in Africa. Yeah. Since they've been treating malaria, since malaria is a huge problem, hydroxychloroquine is over the counter in Africa, and the death rate's incredibly low over the entire continent, despite obviously their technological and medical base being inferior in a lot of cases to the Western world, and yet their death toll remains incredibly low. Why is that? It's because of hydroxychloroquine. Now, we're not selling hydroxychloroquine at smashamash.com/affiliate, but check it out anyway. You can link directly from the homepage to it. It's the smashamash.com/affiliate. We've got supplements. We've got medical stuff like the monitor, the blood oxygen monitor. There's even smashed potatoes, a real respirator, complete with accessories. Goggles, because after all, Dr. Fauci told you to wear them. How about a hazmat suit? How about chemical-resistant gloves? How about Natrio disposable gloves? How about my bio bug-out bag? Anyway, we've got a bunch of items there, and if you're looking to purchase some mix gas, hey, wait a minute here. What's the deal here? If you're looking to mix up some gas, well, we've got two-stroke oil here, the 50-to-1 mix ratio two-stroke oil for your chainsaw or your weed whacker or whatever. It comes in this convenient bottle. After you buy this, you buy it in bulk, and then you refill the bottle, and it's a convenient way to mix your gas. You can buy your own at smashamash.com/affiliate. And let's talk about somebody who's not cheap and Chinese and made in China. Our patrons, the true source of funding for the content. Thanks to our patrons. Please consider becoming a patron if you haven't done so. It's patreon.com/smashamash. Again, the real source of funding for the content, as we get paid about 2 cents an hour by Google AdSense to make these videos. So if you've seen an ad and you think we're paid for this, think again. And today we're not even going to talk about any transients. We don't have a featured object today. But check out smashamash.com/forum. You'll find that we got spammed yesterday. Yes, we received multiple thousands of forum threads from these Chinese spammers. And we've banned and deleted the users. And we've got a lot more views. We're up to 1,660 users now. And we've increased the security a little bit here from an automated perspective. smashamash.com/forum. And if you get to one of these spam topics, if you want to read about Earth and geophysics, well, now the topic is unfortunately 33 pages long. And the only legit posts are going to be on the last couple of pages there. You can see all of these spam posts. The only one that I translated was one that was trying to sell fake degrees. And all about how the Chinese, the equivalent to the State Department in China, is going to verify your fake degree. What a joke. And again, check out smashamash.org. Check out our Smashlights and other playlists, and let's move on to some more data out there in space. Space, a frontier. These are the voyages of the YouTube channel smAsho. Here's the 1-year graph of the electron flux, and we've gotten back up just above warning levels here for a little bit yesterday, and we see some charging hazards here, surface charging that is, over the Caribbean, southern Florida, Mexico a little bit. And as I forecasted yesterday, we see a little bit higher relativistic electron flux. There's the forecast for it to get even higher. So expect this to be even higher in the next day or two. There's the 3-day chart. We barely made it into warning levels yesterday. Here's a visualization of the whole air column. And it's a little bit anomalous here. We see a very narrow band and then a much wider band of electron flux. This will show you where your GPS errors would be happening. They usually happen around the equator at noontime. And here's one slice of the atmosphere, just the ionosphere layer. And we show this daily now to highlight any anomalies in the ionosphere. There's the current situation. I'll let that play through. And by the way, if you weren't aware, the Earth experiences more geomagnetic storms around the equinoxes than around the solstice. It has to do with the magnetic orientation of the planet. Anyway, there's the current image. That one is at 8:15 Universal Time. Next, we'll take a look at where planets are located. I like to use theplanetstoday.com here at the Smash News Network. There is the current situation in the solar system. There's where things will be in a week, just coming off the next full moon. By the way, Halloween falls on a full moon, and October is a blue moon month, apparently. As I believe the full moon is on the 1st and the 31st. I like to use in-the-sky.org for my star charts. If you're up before dawn, you may see Venus if you have a clear sky and a view of the ecliptic. You can even draw in the ecliptic. I like to face mine to the south because I'm currently facing to the south. Next, looking at earthquakes over the past 24. To see no major quakes over a 6 magnitude, let's just scroll up the list. There's a deep one at Japan. It's over 350 kilometers depth at a 4.0 magnitude. Here's a very deep quake at Timor-Leste, 517 kilometers at a 4.5 magnitude. If that happened at the surface, that would be about a 6 magnitude quake, folks. There's a quake in Albania, not the most common situation there. One of the largest of the past 24 happened near the coast of Mexico there. It's a 5.3. 58 kilometers northeast of Molegue. And there's a little aftershock as well. There's a deep quake in the Kermadec Islands there in the rift north of New Zealand. There's a quake at Ferndale, California, 100 meters above sea level. Now, how a quake above sea level happens in the ocean, I don't know. Seems kind of implausible to me. Here's a 4.8 at depth near Guam. Pretty much a downtick. You know, it's pretty seismically inactive right now. If you're in an earthquake-prone zone, please have a plan, a bug-out bag. Know which building facades may collapse if you evacuate. Next, looking at volcanodiscovery.com to check out today's volcano situation. It includes Suwanuse-jima, which has exploded. It's produced a 4,000-foot ash plume. Popocatépetl, likewise exploding, 20,000-foot ash plume there. Sangay, 21,000-foot plume there as it explodes. 15,000-foot ash plume at Revenador as it explodes. And Sabancaya exploding as well down there in Peru. It's producing a flight level 230 warning with continuous ash emissions. It's a 23,000-foot plume of ash. Please do not attempt to pole vault the caldera. Here's the weather.gov map. And things are calming down a little bit there. Thank goodness. And shout out to all of our Gulf Coast viewers. We hope you're doing okay. Here's a view of the jet streams. There is the western world. Extreme meridional jet stream flow. Check out this area. The jet streams normally flow west to east, folks. When they flow north to south, it's called meridional jet stream flow. And it's associated with things like solar minima, apparently. And we still see the jet stream flowing the wrong way over the Indian Ocean, flowing east to west instead of west to east. Shout out to our African and European viewers. There are your water vapor maps. Shout out to our Far Eastern viewers and those from Oceania. There are your water vapor maps. Here are the water vapor maps for the Americas. And here's a pressure map. We'll advance this into the GFS forecast to let you see where pressure cells may end up according to the GFS forecast. Here's where we expect them to be by 12 noon tomorrow, my time. Pretty powerful lows there in the southern hemisphere. Quite a few of them. It's almost like a polar vortex. Now I like to use lightningmaps.org when I hear thunder. There's the current lightning situation. Some heavy lightning there over the Mediterranean there, slightly west of Italy. U.S. Doppler radar map. Here's what's going on in the cloud layer. And if you want to see what's happening in the clouds when it's dark, just look up the NASA GOES interactive weather satellites, click on band 7 shortwave infrared. Since water emits radiation, we can follow it that way. And since we've got some storms there over the southeast, we'll zoom in on that region. Shout out to people like Jim. And we've got several viewers from that area, and it even includes our region here. So there's the mid-Atlantic as well as the southeast. And all of that stuff should continue moving there as there's a bunch of dry, massive air pushing it that way. And hey, Smash team, thanks for tuning in. We greatly appreciate your viewing our videos. Please share with your friends and foes, science noobs and science pros. There may be something for everybody. It's time for me to vanish. And thank you for flying American Smashways. We've got 3 bonus features, which consist of the 335 angstroms view, the intensity gram to see if there are sunspots, and the colorized magnetogram. So we see some active regions there in the south. That does not look like a sunspot. And that might be a sunspot. That does not look like a sunspot. And the colorized magnetogram, by the way, folks, is the easiest way to see what's going on. Do we see any umbre? Maybe, but I don't think so. It does not look dark enough. And let's look at these regions down here. I don't see any sunspot. Looks like we're back to 0 sunspots, folks. Here's the 335 angstroms view. This is 48 hours, showing you some progression of that former sunspot, that active region, otherwise known as a plage in the northeast. Perhaps it's the Earth-facing quiet effect back in place. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, stare at the sun, don't drink it. If you do, don't drive. And since it'll never be now again, welcome to the Neo-Renaissance. May that solar wind be at your back.